Hi, my name is Laura Dunkin-Hubby. I'm a mail artist and art historian from the San Francisco Bay Area. I write a blog called The Suburban Pen Pal where I chronicle my work, and today I'm going to show you how I make my mail art. So, welcome to my messy little workspace. This is the standard amount of chaos that I like to work in. I love having just like little bits and pieces that I can mess around with. So just some of the tools that I like to use. I use a lot of paper, so I like having different scissors, you know, for more heavy duty and delicate work on hand. I also use a lot of Scotch tape. I prefer the glossy finish because it goes on nice and clear. And then this is probably the most important tool that I use. This is a adhesive tape runner. This is actually permanent and refillable, which is really great. It goes on really simply just like this. And then this part is nice and tacky. It's really fantastic if you're doing a lot of paperwork, you know, a lot of collage work, because it doesn't add bulk and it won't warp your paper, which is really great. And just be careful when you're working with really fine or delicate paper, because it will rip it if you try and use this. So if you want to permanently attach things together in a collage piece, this is really fantastic. Occasionally though, I will use the washi tape to temporarily attach like a letter to a collage piece. This is good as both a decorative element and actually as a tool as well. So I actually don't use paper envelopes. I use these clear plastic sleeves. I find that it gives me a lot more flexibility in terms of what I can make, and so I try and keep as many different shapes and sizes around as possible. I just pick them up wherever I can find them. So this is like from Daiso, this is from Kelly Paper, Mido. I get them at art stores, dollar stores, online, you know, wherever I sort of find them. And I also think that it really, the clear bag really helps because you can think beyond just that rectangle. You can sort of make things that are any shape, which I think is really, really awesome. So those are my sleeves. And then what I actually tend to make is this type of stuff. So this is like from pieces from a vintage book. Sometimes I'll just make like little pieces, and this is a good example because I will usually make part of it, but then I'll stick it on top of something that I'm thinking about using, and I won't take them together because I'll wait until I have the letter done, and then that's the really fun part when you stick the two together. So my workspace is just completely covered with stickers and little pieces. I actually found this in the trash the other day. It was just sort of sitting on top, and I liked the way it looked, so I fished it out and just sort of stuck them together. So I just use any of these little bits and pieces. This is tracing paper. I use pens to make just all sorts of little fun things that I can use in my work. So then once I've actually got a letter and I've got, you know, one of these little things that I can use, then the fun part comes when I get to put them together. So this is a good example. This is something I made the other day. This is actually the inside of an envelope that somebody made for me. I just really like the picture, so I just sort of cut it out and messed with it. So I take the letter and then I'll try and affix something that I've made on top of it, or I'll try and incorporate the two as best I can. And then I'll use the plastic bag to actually send it. That becomes the envelope. So here's something that I actually made. This is the letter. I can be quite wordy sometimes. And then this is page 2. I actually don't know anything about origami. I just sort of make it up as I go along. So this is definitely not any kind of actual folding. I've just affixed this with some washi tape to the piece that I've cut out. So I'll just use a little bit more washi tape. I'll do this quickly so I won't use very much tape this time. Just sort of put that in the middle. Normally I would use more than this. Just do it like that. So the idea is here that when she actually goes to read it, she can take this off and read it without completely destroying the text that I've written. And then I'll go ahead and find a plastic bag that's the right size. Some of them have a little reusable adhesive strip at the top, which is really nice, but this one doesn't. So I use the Scotch tape to fix the two together. Let's see if I can do this. I go ahead and fold that over the top, and then use Scotch tape. Normally I'll just seal all that up. And I've learned over the years not to write the address on the inside of the piece because it almost always gets returned to me, which is really frustrating. So I use just like these standard shipping labels, and I use a stamp for my return address, and then I will actually use, excuse me, typewriters for the actual address, because my handwriting is completely atrocious. So I just take this off and stick it on here. And then of course, last but not least, you're going to need postage. So add postage. Just put that on. Back over here. And voila! We have a finished mail art piece ready to be photographed and sent through the mail. So that's it. That's how I make my mail art. This is just one way to make mail art. There is no right or wrong way. You don't have to write a letter or do a collage like I do. This is just how I like to do my work. One thing that I love about mail art is that it's a completely open art form, and you can really do whatever your imagination and the Postal Service will allow. So I encourage you to go out and make some mail art.